Chosen one. Today is not just another day. This is a divine interruption. You didn't stumble across this message. You were led here. Heaven pressed pause just for you. Something holy is happening right now. This moment is not ordinary. It is sacred. Because today, God marked you. Not tomorrow. Not when you're finally ready. Today. And once God marks you, no hand can erase it. No darkness can undo it. No force in hell can override it. You've always felt different. Even when you tried to fit in, something inside you refused to stay quiet. You've been through seasons of isolation, rejection, and silent battles that no one saw, but heaven saw everything. And now, heaven has responded. God has placed his seal on you. Not because of your perfection, but because of your purpose. Not because you earned it, but because you were chosen for it. You're not just surviving, you're rising. Every storm you endured was training. Every tear you cried was counted. Every setback was a setup for this moment. The realm of darkness recognized your calling before you did. That's why the attacks were so fierce. That's why confusion tried to cloud your mind. That's why fear tried to paralyze your next step. But today, the power of God breaks through all of it. Today, heaven says, "That one is mine." Then, what does it mean to be marked by God? It means your identity is sealed in the Spirit. It means the enemy sees you and backs away. It means your name has been whispered in the courts of heaven, and angels have been dispatched on your behalf. You didn't even realize it, but you were being prepared for this very moment. This isn't just encouragement, this is spiritual alignment. That sickness trying to linger in your body, it's losing power. That heaviness trying to cling to your thoughts, it's breaking. That confusion about your future, clarity is coming. Not because things are changing around you, but because something changed within you. When God marks someone, he doesn't consult their past. He doesn't wait for others to agree. He doesn't ask permission. He moves. And when he moves, nothing can stop what he started. The ancient words recorded in the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 2, still echo today. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. When you walk through fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not consume you. This is what protection looks like when you are marked. This is what divine favor feels like when you are chosen. This is what transformation looks like when heaven moves on your behalf. This is what it means when heaven places its fingerprint on your life. Barriers break without warning. Rooms shift when you enter, and battles begin to end before they even reach you. What used to intimidate you now flees from you. You're not just surviving anymore, you're stepping into territory that was always yours. Because when God marks you, access is granted, favor is unlocked, and destiny becomes unstoppable. No more second-guessing your identity, no more hiding your light, no more wondering if God sees you. He says you. He knows you. He marked you. Chosen one. What you carry cannot be stolen. The anointing on your life was not handed to you by man, so man cannot revoke it. You are walking into a new realm of clarity, protection, and purpose. The fear that gripped you yesterday has no place today. The lies that were spoken over you have no hold now. The delays that kept you stuck are breaking in this very hour. Let this be your declaration. I am marked. I am sealed. I am untouchable. End of. This isn't just emotional, It's spiritual. You can feel the shift even now. The fire in your chest. The weight lifting off your shoulders. That's not coincidence. That's confirmation. And now, if your spirit agrees, if you feel this word piercing through every wall of doubt and fear, comment 333 below. That number is your agreement. That number is your yes to what heaven just released over you. And if this spoke to something deep inside of you, like, share, and subscribe, so this same word can reach another chosen one who needs to hear it. You're not who you used to be. You've been marked, and they, whatever they may be, can't touch you now. You've been sealed by something no human hand can touch. The world may not see it, but the spirit realm recognizes it instantly. What happened to you was not external, it was internal, eternal, and divine. And because of that, your life can never return to what it was. This is not just a new season. This is a total shift of identity. The seal God placed on you is not symbolic, it is spiritual authority. It is heaven's proof that you've been claimed, protected, and set apart. While others may still see your past, the spirit realm now sees your mark. You are no longer the person who walked through those battles, because now you carry evidence that you belong to the Almighty. This seal does not fade with time. It doesn't depend on your mood or your circumstances. It doesn't weaken when you doubt or fail. You didn't earn it, so you can't lose it. And because of that, you don't have to strive to keep what God freely gave. You walk in it. You live in it. You rest in it. Chosen one. Listen closely. This seal is protection. But it is also responsibility. It means you can no longer move like everyone else. What would pass for others won't pass for you. What might seem small to them, heaven watches closely in you, because when you are sealed, your life becomes sacred. Your words carry weight. Your actions carry consequences. You are now a representative of heaven on earth. That's why the warfare increased. That's why the pressure has felt relentless. It wasn't punishment, it was preparation. The enemy didn't want you to know what you carried. He wanted you confused, insecure, bound by the opinion of others. But now that you've been sealed, that veil has lifted, the fog is clearing. You're beginning to see things as they really are. The enemy's tactics are losing their grip. The lies that once seemed believable now sound hollow. The temptations that once pulled you no longer taste the same. That's what the seal does. It rewires your spirit. It sharpens your discernment. It elevates your mind. You are now marked, not just for protection, but for perception. You can see what others ignore. You can feel what others numb. You can hear what others miss. And though it can feel lonely at times, know this, the seal of God is never placed without purpose. You are not just marked, you are assigned. There is a mission that comes with this mantle, a purpose you were born to fulfill. And every step you take now matters more than ever. Even when you feel weak, the seal remains. Even when you stumble, the seal doesn't fall off. The enemy may accuse you, but heaven has already declared you righteous. Because this seal is not based on your record, it's based on His. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 2, verse 19. Nevertheless, God's solid foundation stands firm, sealed with this: the Lord knows those who are His. He knows you. It says you. He has marked you. And now, You must walk like one who has been sealed. You must speak with the confidence of one who belongs. You must carry yourself not in pride, but in holy authority. This isn't about status, it's about surrender. Many will not understand this seal. They'll wonder why doors open for you. They'll question why attacks don't affect you the same way. They may even grow distant, uncomfortable, or jealous. Let them. You were not sealed to be celebrated by man. You were sealed to be set apart for God. Do not fear the isolation that comes with this mark. The path of the chosen is often narrow, but it is also covered, guarded, guided. God walks closest with those he seals. He whispers secrets in silence. He leads you when no one else sees. The enemy will try to remind you of who you used to be. He'll try to distract you with noise and detours. But your seal is louder than his lies. Your identity has already been verified in the courts of heaven, and nothing the enemy says can reverse what God has written. So, walk forward, not in fear, but in fullness. Don't shrink. Don't apologize for the shift happening in your life. Don't explain what God has made evident in the Spirit. Let your seal speak for itself. You are not just covered. You are claimed. You are not just protected. You are preserved. You are not just chosen. You are sealed. You've walked among them, and they never saw who you truly were. You moved through crowds, through family, through friendships hidden in plain sight. You've been overlooked, underestimated, and mislabeled. But none of that was failure. It was strategy. God hid you for a reason. It's why certain people couldn't see your worth. Why some relationships couldn't survive the pressure. Why doors that made sense stayed shut. You weren't being delayed. You were being protected. You were moving through dangerous places, and yet harm didn't find you. You were surrounded by envy, but your soul stayed intact. That's what it means to be covered by God. You were walking among wolves, but heaven kept you invisible to their teeth. The devil couldn't attack what he couldn't locate. Even now, some still won't see the real you. They'll mock the changes in you. They'll try to pull you back into old versions of yourself. But they're responding to who you used to be, not who you've become. That's because the seal is not for them to understand. It's for you to carry. Chosen one. The covering that protected you in the hidden place is the same covering that is now releasing you into the open. The difference, this time, you're not walking in silently. You're walking in marked. The spiritual realm can see it clearly. Your presence disrupts atmospheres. Your voice carries weight. Your very existence is a threat to darkness. That's why some people get uncomfortable around you, and they don't know why. You haven't said anything, but something inside them reacts. It's the spirit in you. When God hides someone, it's not to punish them. It's to prepare them for a moment of reveal. And you, chosen one, are stepping into that moment. Everything you endured in secret is about to make sense. Every delay, every detour, every heartbreak, it was all leading to now. The spotlight wasn't late. It was perfectly timed. There's a spiritual principle here. Hiddenness is training ground. Before David faced Goliath publicly, he killed lions and bears in private. Before Jesus stepped into his calling, he spent 30 years in quiet obedience. Before Moses led a nation, he spent 40 years in the wilderness. Why? Because what is built in secret is what lasts in the storm. What is hidden by God is also grown by God. And now that he's unveiling you, You are not just ready, you are rooted. This next season will not be about proving yourself. It will be about walking as yourself. You have nothing to prove when you know you've been chosen. You have nothing to fear when you know you've been hidden and kept. And you have no need to force what God is revealing. Let the fruit speak. Let the Spirit lead. Let the seal mark every room you enter. There will be rooms where you're not the loudest, but you'll carry the most authority. There will be conversations where you say little, but your silence will shift the atmosphere. That's what happens when a hidden one is revealed. You are not just another voice, you are a voice marked by heaven. You are not just another believer, you are a walking sign and wonder. You are not just passing through, you are invading darkness with light. The enemy hoped you would give up during the silent years. He wanted you to curse God when no one affirmed you. But here you are still standing. And not only standing, but stepping into your becoming. The Word of God declares in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 6, "But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father, who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you." Lynn, he saw your pain in secret. He saw your worship in the dark. He saw your obedience when no one else did. And now, he is rewarding you in the open. So here's what I want you to declare out loud in faith and drop in the comments below. I am seen. On. Write it not for the algorithm, but as a statement of alignment. Write it not for others, but because your spirit knows it's true. Write it not to be noticed by man, but to agree with heaven. I am seen, not just by people but by God, by the one who hid you, by the one who covered you, by the one who is now revealing you for such a time as this. And when God sees you, it doesn't matter who doesn't. This is your release. You've been hidden long enough. Now walk forward, revealed, refined, and ready. The plans were real. The attacks were organized. The enemy did not play random games with your life. He launched precise, calculated strikes. But what he didn't account for was the mark. Every time something was sent to destroy you, something greater stepped in between. That something was the hand of God, guided by the seal he placed on your life. You didn't survive by chance. You survived by covering. And today, it's time you understood just how many times the plot failed. You were targeted, but you were untouchable. You were surrounded, but never consumed. You were hit, but never destroyed. The truth is, the enemy never feared your personality. He feared your purpose. He feared what you would become if you ever woke up and realized who you are. His attacks weren't to stop your talent, they were to silence your spirit. Because he knew, once you realized you were marked, he would lose his grip forever. That's why he came for your voice. That's why he attacked your identity. That's why he stirred confusion in your calling. Because he knew, if you ever stood up in truth, you'd become unstoppable. So he attacked early. He attacked through people, through trauma, through cycles, through systems. He planted seeds of doubt. He manipulated emotions. He twisted moments. He made you question everything, even your own worth. But what he didn't realize is that God had already written your outcome. Long before the battle began, the ending was already secured. That's what being marked means. The outcome is not up for negotiation. Chosen one. There are things you'll never fully know until eternity, how many plots were formed behind your back. How many traps were set beneath your feet? How many words were spoken to curse you? And yet, none of it stuck. Not because of luck, but because of grace. You didn't see the full warfare, but heaven did. And heaven responded every single time. You may have felt weak, but angels were dispatched. You may have felt tired, but strength was supplied. You may have thought you were losing, but the scoreboard always showed still covered. No, the Spirit spoke through the prophet Isaiah, and the word still stands in chapter 54, verse 17. No weapon forged against you will prevail, and you will refute every tongue that accuses you. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord. No, that promise didn't expire. It covers you now. That's why the weapons were formed, but they didn't finish. They came close, but they couldn't complete the mission. Because every assignment formed in hell still has to pass through heaven's permission, and God said no. Even when you fell, He said no. Even when you doubted, He said no. Even when you pulled away, when you ran, when you almost gave up, He still said no. Because He saw what you couldn't see, the future version of you, the one who would carry fire in their voice, the one who would walk in purity, authority, and truth, the one who would intercede for others, even after being betrayed, the one who would rise from ashes, anointed and unshakable. The enemy only had one goal, to keep you from becoming that version. But he failed, because the plot that was designed to bury you became the soil that grew you. That betrayal taught you discernment. That heartbreak taught you compassion. That wilderness taught you how to walk with God when no one else understood. What the enemy hoped would silence you has only sharpened you. Chosen one. Let this truth anchor your soul. The plan didn't work. The spiritual ambush failed. The season of sabotage passed. And here you are, not broken, but built, not forgotten, but favored. You've come through the kind of fire that should have left permanent damage. But instead, you're shining. That glow, that clarity, that weight in your words, it came from everything that didn't kill you. It came from every night you chose faith over fear. Every morning you rose without answers, but still showed up. You are not the victim of the attack. You are the evidence that God's protection is real, that God defends what He marks, that heaven will always outmaneuver hell. So if the voices come back, the doubt, the fear, the guilt, remind them of what they already know. The plot failed. It tried. It pushed. It screamed. But you rose anyway. And not just risen, you rose with power, with perspective, with purity. You rose, knowing you are sealed by the living God. And because of that, the plot can never touch you again. Heaven does not forget a name it has called, and yours, chosen one, was not only spoken, it was declared in the Spirit, long before you ever cried your first tear, before your first heartbreak, before your first why. God, your name was known, and not just known, set apart. You weren't just chosen in a moment of emotion, you were called out by name, written into the plans of God with intention, with vision, and with a destiny that cannot be erased. The world may label you based on what they see, but God knows exactly who you are. And today, heaven echoes it again. You are mine. This isn't about a title or position. This is about identity. When God calls you by name, He is not speaking to your outer shell. He is summoning the eternal part of you. The you that can't be touched by failure. The you that remains when everything else falls away. The real you, the marked one. There is power in being named by God, because what He names, He protects. What He calls out, He anoints. And what He claims, He never abandons. Even when you tried to run from the call, heaven still whispered it. Even when you rejected it, God was still patient. Even when you silenced your own voice, heaven refused to forget it. The name God calls you is not too broken, too far gone, too late. One, He calls you His. He calls you set apart. He calls you warrior. He calls you light bearer. He calls you chosen. In the sacred words of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 1, it is written, "Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine." Read that again. Slowly. Let it settle into your bones. I have called you by name. That means it's personal. God didn't send this word for a crowd. He sent it for you, chosen one. You are not hidden from the eyes of your Father. You are not a mistake. You are not lost in the shuffle, even when you felt forgotten. The truth is, you were being remembered in the courts of heaven. That moment you whispered in prayer, "God, do you still see me?" He answered not with thunder, but with a mark, not with noise, but with a calling. And now He is calling again, not because He forgot, but because it's time for you to remember. The calling is not always loud. Sometimes it feels like a pull, a stirring, a holy discomfort. It shows up when you can no longer tolerate shallow living, when the conversations that once satisfied now feel hollow, when the crowd starts to feel like noise, and solitude begins to feel like sanctuary. That's not distance, that's God drawing you closer. You've been called out not to be better than others, but to be different for the sake of others. The world doesn't need more copies. It needs the original design that God placed inside of you. And now, chosen one, is the time to respond. No more hiding your light to make others comfortable. No more questioning whether the call is real. No more shrinking from your name. It's time to stand in it. To walk with clarity. To speak with purpose. To carry yourself like someone who knows heaven said yes over their life. There are people waiting on the other side of your obedience. There are lives tied to your voice. There are destinies connected to your yes. You may feel small, but your calling is not small. So walk in the boldness of someone who was named by the King. Speak with the conviction of someone who was called before they were formed. Live with the reverence of someone who's carrying a heaven-born assignment. And if this word met you where you are, if you feel that undeniable tug in your spirit that says, "This is for me," then let's keep walking this path together. You don't have to walk alone. Like this message, not out of habit, but as a silent agreement between your spirit and heaven, share it with someone who needs to remember who they are. You never know what one simple act of obedience can unlock in someone else's life. And if you haven't already, subscribe, not for content, but for connection. This space was created for chosen ones like you, so we never walk blind again. Because when God calls you by name, He doesn't stop until you answer. And you are answering now. You may not have understood it then, but the protection on your life wasn't ordinary. The accidents that didn't happen, the people who left without explanation, The doors that slammed shut, even though you prayed they'd stay open. None of it was random. You were already marked before the battle even began. There are some things that were never allowed to reach you, not because you were strong enough to resist, but because God refused to let them pass through the mark. What others around you fell into, you walked past. What destroyed others only scratched the surface of your soul. And not because you were better, but because you were sealed. The difference is in the covering. The reason why some plans didn't work, some attacks didn't land, some cycles never took hold, was because you were already spoken for. There was already a divine seal stamped on your life. Even before you were fully aware of what it meant, that seal made you untouchable to certain forces. Long before you had the words to describe what was happening. Chosen one. Protection isn't always visible. Sometimes it looks like rejection. Sometimes it feels like loneliness. Sometimes it feels like missed opportunity. But in reality, it's God blocking what you didn't know was meant to destroy you. His hand was on your life. Even when your heart was breaking, His eye was on your soul. Even when you thought He was silent, every no from heaven was a yes to your protection. Every closed door was mercy in disguise. Every person who exited your life left because they couldn't handle the weight of your calling. Let go of the guilt for what didn't last. Let go of the bitterness over what didn't work. You weren't being punished, you were being preserved. Some of the very things you cried over were the things God used to shield your future. This is what it means to be marked. You were always His responsibility. Even when you drifted, even when you doubted, even when you chose people who couldn't see your worth. God never dropped you. You were kept, carried, covered, and today, you're being reminded why. There is a hedge around your life that hell cannot penetrate. There is an invisible barrier that darkness cannot cross. Your destiny has angelic security. Your assignment is surrounded by unseen fire. And the reason you're still standing after everything you've faced is because God never let the full weight of the enemy hit you. You felt pressure, yes, but not destruction. You faced warfare, yes, but not defeat. Because the seal on your life carries more power than the threats against you. As the Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 10, verse 13, God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, He will also provide a way out so that you can endure it. That's what your life has been, a testimony of every way of escape God provided. Sometimes through delays, sometimes through loss, sometimes through deep, uncomfortable shifts, but always, always through love. This is why the enemy couldn't finish what he started. He underestimated the one who marked you. He assumed your weakness would cancel your calling. He thought your pain would harden your heart, but instead, it purified it. You came out not bitter, but bold, not wounded, but wiser, not broken, but rebuilt by grace. There is power in knowing this truth. You're not still here because you fought perfectly. You're here because God fought for you. So don't question your value when people can't see it. Don't lower your worth because of temporary silence. Heaven has always had eyes on you, and no one, no voice, no circumstance, no lie can revoke the seal God has placed upon your life. Chosen one. This is the part where you recognize what kept you alive. It wasn't coincidence. It was covenant. It wasn't timing. It was truth. And now, that truth is calling you higher. You're walking into a season where the things that once threatened to consume you will no longer touch you. The temptations that once had power over you will lose their grip. The shame that followed you for years will be broken completely. Not because you've suddenly become stronger, but because you're finally realizing you were protected all along. There's only one thing to say when that reality sinks in. When you feel it deep in your spirit, when your heart starts to agree with what heaven already knows. Comment 555. Not for attention, but for alignment. Not for visibility, but as a quiet declaration that says, I know now. I was protected. I am marked, and I will walk accordingly. Oh, the seal is not just on your life, it's over your path. Every step forward is covered. Every battle ahead is already measured by heaven. And every promise still waiting to unfold is protected by the same hand that kept you alive. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You owe God your yes. And that yes begins now. There is something deeper than talent, louder than words, and stronger than charisma. It is the blood that covers you. That is what identifies you now. It's not your resume, not your upbringing, not your social circle. What speaks for you in the unseen realm is something far greater, the blood of Jesus. Chosen one. Your identity is not based on what you've done or failed to do. It is based on who covers you. And today, you need to understand that what sets you apart is not how perfect you've been, but how completely you've been purchased. When the enemy comes to accuse, when he gathers the record of your past, when he brings up the lowest moments of your life, he is met with silence. Not because there is no truth in his accusations, but because the blood already answered for you. Every shameful decision, every regret, every place where you disobeyed or drifted. The enemy hoped those would be the reasons God would cancel the calling on your life. But what he underestimated was the power of the blood to speak louder than your mistakes. Chosen one. You are not just forgiven. You are covered, and what the blood covers, the enemy cannot access. In the book of Hebrews, the Spirit speaks through the writer. Chapter 12, verse 24, to Jesus, the mediator of a new covenant, and to the sprinkled blood that speaks a better word than the blood of Abel. There is blood that speaks, not the blood of guilt or human vengeance, but the blood of Christ, which declares you redeemed, righteous, and released. This is why the darkness couldn't hold you, why the accusations couldn't stick, why the heaviness eventually lifted, because something greater than guilt is on your side. Not a second chance, not just mercy, but the living blood of the Lamb, testifying on your behalf. Again and again. That blood didn't just forgive you, it rebranded you. It gave you access into spaces you didn't earn. It gave you peace that doesn't make sense. It gave you back your name, your clarity, your future. And when you're marked by that blood, there is no curse strong enough to reverse it. You may not feel worthy, and that's okay. The mark wasn't placed because you were worthy. It was placed because He is worthy. The blood that covers you came at a price you couldn't pay. That's why grace isn't something you can control, it's something you surrender to. This blood became your identity. And now, whether people understand it or not, whether they honor it or not, you walk in a level of favor and access that can't be explained naturally. This is why you've survived attacks that should have ended you, why peace returned even after the storm, why your mind was preserved after seasons of chaos. because the blood didn't just cover your sin, it covered your mind. It covered your name. It covered your steps. It went before you into rooms where decisions were made about you without your knowledge. You are not under threat. You are under covering. Don't let anyone reduce what you carry to just personality or passion. What you carry is weight in the spirit realm, the mark of mercy, the sound of the blood. When you walk into a room, that sound speaks. When you kneel to pray, that sound thunders. When the enemy tries to access your life, that blood declares, "This one is mine." End of 2. There are levels of warfare you were exempt from, not because you're better, but because the blood marked you off limits. And even in your lowest moments, even when you didn't know what to pray, even when your strength failed, the blood never lost its voice. It kept speaking. It kept covering. It kept fighting for you. You didn't make it this far by willpower. You made it by divine protection. There is something holy wrapped around your life. And it has nothing to do with appearance or performance. It is the blood seal of God. And because of that, you have nothing left to prove. You only have to walk as someone who knows they are no longer trying to earn grace. They're walking in the evidence of it. The attacks won't stop, but their power has been broken. The enemy may still try, but his access is revoked. The storms may still rage, but they'll never carry you away again, because the blood is still speaking, and it's still louder than anything the enemy could whisper. It's still more powerful than anything that tries to reach you, and it's still more faithful than the voices that once turned away. You were not just rescued, you were redeemed and sealed by the blood, for the purpose, for the glory of the one who calls you chosen. There is a decree that has been issued in the realm of the Spirit, and it cannot be revoked. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, not because you're untouchable in the natural, but because you are guarded in the supernatural. The moment God marked you, He also assigned defense around you. Chosen one. This isn't theory. It's the reason you're still standing. It's why the traps didn't close. It's why the betrayals didn't destroy your trust completely. You may have been wounded, but you weren't wiped out. Shaken, but not shattered. Weapons were surely formed. The enemy sharpened them in secret places, through people, through memories, through past regrets and hidden fears. He watched for the moment you were weakest, most vulnerable, most tired. He waited for you to question your own value. And yet, even then, He could not win. Because when God declares a thing over a life, it overrides every other word, every curse, every opinion. When God says, "This one is mine," no arrow flies without resistance. Heaven becomes your shield. Angels stand as invisible guards. And every assignment of darkness must pass through divine permission, and many have been denied. Even the ones that were allowed to come close, they were never allowed to destroy you. Yes, you walked through fire, but you came out refined. Yes, you walked through storms, but they taught you how to walk on water. Yes, you faced betrayal, but it revealed who wasn't meant to stay. The very things that were meant to break you were allowed only so they could build you. That's the paradox of being chosen. You are attacked not because you're weak, but because you carry something powerful. You're targeted not because you're off track, but because you are dangerously close to alignment. And now, the attacks that once caught you off guard can no longer find access the way they used to. You've grown, you've discerned, you've matured under pressure. The weight didn't crush you, it shaped you. You've been made wiser through pain, stronger through delay, sharper through disappointment. You no longer need to panic when warfare shows up. You've learned to recognize it not as punishment, but as a signal. It means something in the spirit realm is shifting. It means elevation is near. It means your steps are making noise in the dark. And resistance is just a reaction to your advancement. As the prophet David wrote in the book of Psalms, chapter 121, verse 7, "The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life." This is not blind comfort. It is truth. The kind of truth that has carried you through every season where you had no answers. Only faith. The weapon may form, but it has already been disarmed. The fear may rise, but it has already been silenced. The darkness may linger, but it cannot touch what has been sealed. And even when it lingers, when darkness hovers longer than expected, it still cannot cross the line God has drawn around your life. You are surrounded by something stronger than shadows. The presence of God is not seasonal, it's permanent. You are not waiting to be covered, you are already covered. Not 1 second of your pain has gone unnoticed, and not one moment of your future is unprotected. This is what the enemy hates, that despite everything thrown your way, you still believe, you still hope, you still speak life, you still rise in the morning and whisper, "God, I trust you." Oh, and every time you do, the ground shakes, because it means the attacks didn't win. Every time you forgive, when you had the right to be bitter, heaven moves. Every time you worship with a heavy heart, something in the spirit breaks open. Every time you choose obedience over comfort, angels are activated on your behalf. You are no longer who you were before the battle. You are stronger now, not because the war wasn't real, but because grace was stronger than the war. So, walk boldly, not because nothing will come against you, but because nothing that comes will succeed. The mark on your life is heaven's promise of protection. That promise doesn't exempt you from battle, but it does guarantee the outcome. You are not in this alone. Every step forward is watched, shielded, and accounted for. The attack may be formed, but the victory is already written, and you, chosen one, are walking in it day by day, breath by breath, strength by strength. There's a spiritual line that was just drawn in the sand, and you, chosen one, are now on the other side of it. The line was separation. The shift wasn't loud, but it was final. You didn't just receive a word. You didn't just get encouragement. You crossed over into a new territory in the spirit. What once had access to you no longer does. What once confused you now gets exposed. What once had power over your emotions now feels strangely powerless. This isn't imagination. It's the result of alignment. When God marks a person, He doesn't just give them protection, He gives them vision. Suddenly, you begin to see. Patterns become clear. People reveal themselves. Peace becomes louder than pressure. And you realize, I've crossed into something holy. You didn't just get stronger, you got clearer. You didn't just survive another storm. You stepped into the kind of authority that storms now recognize. There are seasons where God lets you stand and learn, but then come the moments where He draws the line and says, from this point forward, things will not be the same. Oh, this is that moment. The habits that once held you, they're losing their grip. The insecurity that once paralyzed you, it's shrinking. The confusion that used to fog your mind, it's lifting. You are stepping into dominion not just over your life, but over every territory connected to your calling. That includes your family, your bloodline, your atmosphere, your decisions. Chosen one. You didn't cross over alone. You crossed over with covering. The angels that walked with you in your wilderness are now standing guard around your promise. And the Spirit of God is leading you not to safety, but into victory. This is where old cycles break. This is where generational curses collapse. This is where you stop merely defending yourself and start occupying what was always yours. In the book of Joshua, the moment came when the Israelites crossed the Jordan, not just symbolically, but spiritually. They didn't just leave Egypt behind, they stepped into a covenant land. And God said to them what He's saying to you now: I will give you every place where you set your foot. As revealed in the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 3, I will give you every place where you set your foot, as He promised Moses. That's not just a promise, it's a divine assignment. You're not wandering anymore. You're walking on promise-covered ground. Every decision you make from this place has weight. Every prayer you whisper now holds a different kind of power. Every room you step into carries the presence of the one who sent you. But listen closely. With every crossing comes resistance. Just because you've stepped into new territory doesn't mean the enemy will back off. In fact, he'll push harder. He'll test your identity. He'll try to drag you back into old mindsets. But the difference now? You know who you are. You are not the same person who doubted at the riverbank. You are not the same person who cried in confusion last season. You are marked, sealed, called, and now positioned. When you crossed over, so did the authority on your life. That authority is not something you have to earn. You already carry it because of the one who sent you. That's why your presence causes tension in places of compromise. It's why certain people pull away. It's not personal, it's spiritual. Because when someone crosses over into divine territory, their very life becomes a disruption to anything built on lies, fear, or flesh. Your peace convicts. Your purity exposes. Your progress unsettles the insecure. But don't let that stop you. Don't water down what God has placed in you to make others comfortable. Don't step back into Egypt when you've already crossed into promise. Keep walking. Keep trusting. Keep declaring what heaven already confirmed. You are not going back. You are not playing small. You are not bound by what once held you. The Jordan is behind you now. The wilderness is behind you now. The shame, the striving, the silence, they're behind you now. You've crossed over, and your next steps are not toward survival, but toward fullness. There's no need to explain it. No need to apologize for it. Just agree with it. Let your soul say yes to what God has already settled in the Spirit. And if everything in your spirit resonates with this truth, type in the comments, no turning back. Oh, say it. Not to be seen, but as a personal declaration, a signal in the Spirit that says, I know where I came from. I know where I'm going. And I refuse to return to what God just brought me out of. No turning back. Not now. Not ever. You just crossed over. Not in the natural, but in the Spirit. There was a line drawn, an invisible boundary that you stepped across without hesitation or regret. The moment was silent but seismic. You didn't hear a trumpet blast, but the heavens declared it with thunder. You didn't feel the earth shake beneath your feet, but the spirit realm responded with a standing ovation. You entered a new chapter, a new realm of purpose and power. This crossing isn't about perfection. It's not about having all the answers or never feeling fear. It's about the moment you decide that who God says you are matters more than what the enemy tries to tell you. It's about stepping into the fullness of your identity, marked and sealed by the hand of the Almighty. Before this moment, you may have felt stuck, trapped by past mistakes, broken relationships, or the weight of generational pain. You may have carried the burden of rejection, confusion, and delay. But when you crossed that line, everything changed. What once held you back became the very platform for your breakthrough. Think about the Israelites crossing the Jordan River. They stood at the edge of the waters, uncertain but obedient. When the priests stepped into the river, the waters parted, and the people walked on dry ground. That moment wasn't just a miracle, it was a declaration that the old life was over, and a new destiny was beginning. Today, you are standing on your own Jordan, ready to step into your promised land. This is your spiritual breakthrough, your redemptive moment. The chains that bound you are broken. The strongholds that held you are falling. Your path is being cleared by the unseen hand of God. And though you may still face challenges, you are no longer walking them as a victim. You are walking as a victor. Your presence now carries authority. You don't have to shout to be heard. Your silence speaks volumes. Your faith moves mountains. This is the power of crossing over, of stepping into what God has prepared for you. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 28, verse 20, "And surely I am with you, always, to the very end of the age." His presence accompanies your crossing. You are never alone. Every step you take into this new realm is covered by His unending promise. His presence surrounds you like a shield, steady and unyielding. When doubts arise or fears threaten, remember, His promise holds firm. You are carried by a love that never fades, guided by a hand that never lets go. In every step, you are fully protected and deeply known. Because this moment is so powerful, it's important to capture it, to celebrate it, and to invite others to experience their own crossing. If this word has stirred your heart, if you feel the Spirit nudging you to move forward, then take a moment right now to like this message. Share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to stay connected to these life-changing revelations. Every time you engage with this message, you're not just interacting with content, you're aligning yourself with a movement of chosen ones stepping into their destiny. You're becoming part of a community that believes in God's promises and walks boldly in their calling. Remember, crossing over is not a one-time event. It's a daily decision. Every morning, you choose to live in the freedom of what God has done, not the chains of what the enemy tried to impose. Every moment, you decide to walk forward in faith, knowing that God's mark on you is unbreakable. Your story is shifting. Your future is bright. Your best days are ahead. If you're ready to declare this crossing in your life, if you want to stand boldly in your calling, comment below with "I cross over" as a prophetic affirmation of your step into God's promises. You're not alone in this journey. The same God who parted the seas for His people is with you. The same Spirit who empowered the giant slayer is empowering you. The same love that never failed is now guiding your steps. Let your heart be filled with hope and confidence. The enemy's days of harassment are numbered. Your new season of victory has begun. So, don't hold back. Walk in the freedom of your crossing. Speak with the authority of your calling. Live in the power of your marking. And as you do, remember to like, share, and subscribe to continue receiving these prophetic messages. They are here to remind you every day that you are God's chosen, marked and untouchable. You just crossed over. The door is open. Step through boldly. The moment God places His mark on you, the atmosphere around your life begins to shift, sometimes subtly, sometimes with undeniable force. This is the spiritual tipping point where heaven's intervention causes earth to respond. When you carry heaven's seal, the natural realm cannot remain the same. Doors begin to open that were once locked tight. Relationships start to realign, either by restoration or by removal. Battles that felt endless start to lose their intensity, replaced by unexpected peace or sudden breakthroughs. This is the power of heaven's mark in motion. You may have noticed things changing around you recently, small shifts in opportunities, conversations that suddenly take a new direction, even feelings within you stirring differently. These are not coincidences. They are the tangible evidence of a spiritual realignment taking place because God has placed His mark on you. The unseen realm has begun to reorganize around your purpose. Angelic hosts are repositioning. Divine strategies are unfolding. Your season of waiting is transitioning into a season of action. What once seemed impossible now feels possible, because the ground beneath your feet has been prepared by divine hands. Heaven's mark is not passive, it is an active force that brings transformation. It causes old patterns to break and new pathways to emerge. This shift might feel uncomfortable, as change often does. You may find yourself outgrowing people, places, or roles that once defined you. This is not loss, but liberation. God is clearing the way for what He has promised. The Bible speaks clearly about such times of transition. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 19, the Lord declares, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. And that wilderness you once walked through, it's no longer barren. It's becoming a place of new life and fresh provision. The streams are flowing because God is actively shifting your circumstances to align with His purpose for you. What once felt dry and lifeless is now fertile ground. New opportunities are springing up like fresh shoots after rain. God's timing is perfect. Even if it feels slow, trust that every delay was preparing you for this moment, where your wilderness transforms into abundance and breakthrough. You may feel like you are standing at the edge of something great but uncertain. That tension is a sign of spiritual birthing. It's a sacred place where faith meets promise. Though you cannot see all the details clearly yet, trust that God is at work, orchestrating every element for your good. Relationships that no longer serve your destiny may fade away, making room for new connections that will fuel your growth and vision. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach may begin to present themselves unexpectedly. Doors you've been knocking on for years might suddenly open wide. However, with every door that opens, discernment becomes crucial. Not every change is a blessing. The mark of heaven comes with spiritual wisdom to navigate these shifts wisely. You will learn to recognize what aligns with God's will and what does not. Your spirit will become a compass, leading you through the transition with clarity and confidence. The battles you face during this time may look different. They might be internal struggles of doubt or external challenges of opposition, but the mark on your life ensures you are not alone. Divine favor surrounds you, and your path is guarded by forces unseen. Expect sudden changes. Be ready for rapid shifts. What once took months or years to unfold may now happen quickly. As God accelerates your destiny, be open to receiving the unexpected blessings and be patient with the process of transformation. Remember, the mark of heaven is a sign of God's active presence in your life. It is His way of saying, "I have not forgotten you. I am preparing you. Your time is coming." Stand firm in that promise. Even when the natural circumstances don't yet reflect the change, your faith will be the bridge between the invisible and the visible. In this season, cultivate patience and perseverance. Keep your heart tuned to God's voice. Maintain integrity in all things. The shifts happening now are laying the foundation for your next great chapter. You are entering a divine season of alignment. The world may still seem chaotic, but the spiritual currents are changing. Your life is becoming a beacon of God's power and purpose. The mark you carry is causing heaven and earth to converge in your favor. Trust the process. Embrace the shift. You are exactly where God needs you to be. You carry a mark that is not just a sign, but a gateway to the miraculous. This mark is the divine signature that opens heavens and unlocks blessings unseen. When God seals you, you don't just receive protection, you gain access to a realm where miracles become the norm. Chosen one. Miracles are not random acts of luck or coincidence. They are divine interventions. Manifestations of God's power, released because of who you are and the calling on your life. When heaven marks you, it releases supernatural favor that touches every area of your life, your health, your relationships, your finances, and your destiny. This is why the impossible starts happening. Why situations that seemed stuck suddenly shift overnight. Why prayers you prayed in secret begin to manifest openly. The mark you carry isn't just for show, it's a key that opens doors to miracles waiting on the other side of faith. The Spirit of God moves powerfully in the lives of those He marks. It's like a fire ignited within you, burning away doubt and fear, fueling hope, and calling forth the impossible. You are not left to fight battles alone. Divine power accompanies you, turning your weakness into strength, your despair into joy. Yet, miracles don't always come in ways you expect. Sometimes they are quiet. Gradual shifts, a healing that takes time, a relationship restored slowly, a breakthrough that comes after perseverance. Other times, they come, suddenly doors fly open. Debts are cancelled. Chains are broken. Regardless of the timing, the mark you carry is your invitation to expect the miraculous. As it is written in the book of Exodus, chapter 15, verse 6, your right hand, Lord, was majestic in power. Your right hand, Lord, shattered the enemy. The same mighty hand that shattered the enemy of old is now at work in your life. The miracles you're about to witness are not by chance. They are a continuation of that same power moving through your veins and your story. Miracles flow naturally when you walk in the seal of heaven, because the Spirit within you refuses to be limited by natural circumstances. Your faith becomes a force field that attracts the supernatural. Doors that seemed closed will open. Resources that seemed depleted will be replenished. Healing that seemed impossible will manifest. But to step into this flow, you must believe it is for you. You must see yourself as one who is already favored, already empowered, already marked for miracles. The doubt that whispers, "It can't happen to me," must be silenced by the truth that says, "God marked me, and His power is in me." Miracles will confirm your identity and ignite your destiny. They are signs that heaven is shifting in your favor. They build your faith and remind you that the God who calls you is faithful to fulfill His promises. But with great favor comes great responsibility. The mark on your life is not just a ticket to blessings, it's a call to stewardship. You are entrusted with divine power to bless others, to be a conduit of miracles in the lives around you. Your testimony becomes a beacon. Your breakthroughs become encouragement, and your faith becomes a standard for others to follow. The enemy will try to discredit your miracles, sow doubt, and plant fear. But remember, the power behind your mark is unshakable. The witness of heaven stands firm, and the testimonies that arise from your life will silence the critics and strengthen the weary. When you see the miraculous unfold, don't hide it. Let it glorify God. Let it inspire faith. Let it remind you and others that God is alive and working. Your life is a living testimony of His power and presence. If your spirit resonates with this truth, declare it now in your heart. Whisper or speak out loud, "I am marked for miracles." Let that be the anthem that guides you through every challenge and fuels every victory. And to seal this word in your spirit, type 888 in the comments as a prophetic declaration that you receive and embrace the miraculous power God has placed on you. Your miracles are coming. Your breakthrough is near. Your favor is unstoppable, because you carry the mark of the living God, one that cannot be erased, one that cannot be denied, one that cannot be undone. Step boldly into the miraculous. Chosen one, it is yours. Not everyone will understand the changes taking place in you. This is part of the journey you walk, as one who carries a divine mark. The transformation inside your spirit, the new level of authority, and the shift in your life's direction will often be misunderstood by those around you. People may notice something different, but struggle to put their finger on it. They may question your motives, doubt your progress, or even distance themselves because your calling challenges the familiar patterns they have grown comfortable with. You are not called to explain or justify what God is doing in your life. Many will see the fruit before they recognize the source. They will hear your voice and be unsettled by it, especially if it challenges their worldview or threatens their comfort zones. That is the natural reaction to the divine disruption that comes with being marked by God. The truth is, the mark God places on you is not always meant to be understood by everyone. It is meant to be lived out boldly and faithfully. Your journey is unique, and your purpose is sovereign. You cannot expect the world to fully grasp the depth of your calling, but you can trust the one who called you to walk it. There will be moments of loneliness when the weight of being different feels heavy. The isolation that sometimes accompanies spiritual growth is not a sign of failure, but a sign of alignment. When you step into new territories of faith and purpose, the familiar crowds often fall away, making room for divine connections and fresh anointings. The Apostle Paul experienced this firsthand. Many misunderstood his message, questioned his motives, and even persecuted him. Yet, he pressed forward because he knew his calling came from God, not man. He understood that not everyone would comprehend his journey, but he remained faithful because of the promise he carried. You carry that same promise. The mark on your life is a seal of authenticity and divine purpose that cannot be diluted by misunderstanding or rejection. It is a testament to God's faithfulness to you even when others cannot see it. In the wilderness of misunderstanding, God's presence becomes your refuge. When voices rise against you, His voice is the one that sustains you. When isolation threatens your joy, His joy becomes your strength. When doubt creeps in, His word becomes your anchor. The world may not see your value, but heaven does. The opinions of others cannot erase what God has declared over your life. You are not defined by the approval or rejection of man, but by the affirmation of your Creator. As the psalmist wrote in the book of Psalms, chapter 27, verse 10, "Though my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will receive me." This truth frees you to live authentically, unburdened by the need for universal acceptance. You are called to shine in your uniqueness, to walk boldly in your calling, and to be a beacon for others who feel misunderstood. This truth frees you to live authentically, unburdened by the need for universal acceptance. You are called to shine in your uniqueness, to walk boldly in your calling, and to be a beacon for others who feel misunderstood. Your light is not meant to blend into the crowd, but to stand out and guide. When you embrace who God made you to be, you release others from their doubts and fears. Your faithfulness inspires courage in those hiding in shadows, showing them that it's possible to thrive despite rejection. You become a living testimony of God's unfailing love and purpose. The mark God placed on you is a beacon of hope, a signal of destiny, and a source of strength. It is a reminder that you are chosen for such a time as this, and your life matters deeply in the unfolding of His plans. So when you face misunderstanding, remember that it is part of the process of being set apart. Your faithfulness in the face of confusion will produce a harvest of testimonies that will inspire others to trust God's timing and purpose. Keep your eyes on the author and perfecter of your faith. Let His affirmation be louder than any criticism. Let His love be the refuge where you find rest. And let His call be the fire that propels you forward. The mark you carry is not just for today, but for all the days ahead. It is a seal of identity, purpose, and unshakable destiny. Hold fast to it. Walk in it, and trust that God is using every step, even the misunderstood ones, to write a story of victory and glory. You may not realize it yet, but your enemies have already lost. The battles that once seemed endless are coming to an end. The accusations that haunted your nights, the whispers that sought to erode your confidence, and the attacks aimed to steal your peace, all have been silenced by the power of the mark God placed on you. This is not empty hope. It is a spiritual reality that heaven itself has declared. Every strategy the enemy crafted against you was designed to break your spirit, to stop your progress, and to derail your destiny. But what they didn't count on was the seal of God, a seal that acts like an unbreakable shield around your life. It's a shield forged in the furnace of divine love, tempered by grace and strengthened by faith. The enemy's arrows bounce off that shield. His fiery darts are extinguished before they reach you. You've walked through storms where many would have given up. You've faced trials that would have crushed others. But here you are, still standing, still believing, still pressing forward. Your persistence is a testament to the fact that the enemy's plans were never strong enough to overcome the power of God working in and through you. The enemy may try to whisper lies, but the truth is louder. You are victorious because you carry a divine mark. The accusations are powerless against a person sealed by God's hand. Every lie spoken about your worth, your calling, or your future is rendered null and void. The truth of your identity in Christ cancels out every false charge. There's a spiritual silence now, where the enemy's voice once roared. His threats have been reduced to faint echoes in the background, unable to drown out the roar of heaven's favor. This silence is a sign of defeat for the enemy and victory for you. You are no longer his target. You are his reminder of failure. You are a living testament that God's protection is real, that his promises are trustworthy, and that his grace is sufficient. The enemy's defeat is not just for your benefit. It is a message to all who would seek to stand against the purposes of God. Even when the enemy tries to rally his forces for one last assault, the outcome is already decided. The mark on your life is like a divine warrant that cannot be revoked or overridden. It carries with it the authority of heaven itself, making you untouchable by the schemes of darkness. You may still face opposition, but the opposition is powerless to undo what God has established. Your enemies may attempt to speak against you, but the Lord's declaration over your life is final. It cannot be changed, compromised, or silenced. This victory is not because of your strength, but because of God's faithfulness. He who marked you is the same, one who fights your battles and secures your future. His covenant with you is unbreakable. His love is unshakable. His power is undeniable. The enemy's defeat means you can walk forward without fear. You can pursue your calling with confidence. You can speak your truth boldly, knowing that you are protected by the one who has already won the war on your behalf. Even when shadows rise, they will not prevail. Even when challenges come, they will not defeat you, because the mark God placed on you is a seal of victory, a symbol of divine favor, and a promise of ultimate triumph. You are not alone in this victory. The armies of heaven surround you, ready to defend and advance with you. The angels are dispatched to your aid. The Spirit within you empowers you to overcome every obstacle. Your enemies have lost, but your victory is just beginning. What the enemy intended for harm, God has turned for your good. The testimony of your life is a declaration that no weapon can prosper against those marked by the hand of God. This truth is your foundation. It is the rock upon which you stand. It will sustain you through every trial and carry you into every triumph. So hold fast to this reality. Your enemies have lost. Their accusations have been silenced. Their power has been broken. You are marked by God, untouchable, unshakeable, and victorious. As it is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 17, "No weapon forged against you will prevail, and you will refute every tongue that accuses you." Oh, chosen one, your very presence is a walking warning to the forces of darkness. Wherever you go, something changes. The atmosphere shifts. The shadows retreat. The plans of the enemy crumble before they can take shape. You are a living alarm, an unmistakable signal that heaven's power is on the move. Your life is not accidental. It is intentional. It is anointed. The mark God placed on you does not just protect you, it announces you. It tells the spiritual realm that this person is under divine authority, it is like a seal of fire, blazing with purpose and power. Darkness sees it and trembles. It knows that you are not to be taken lightly. The angels assigned to guard you stand ready, watching over every step you take. You are not here by chance. You are here by divine design. The battles you face, the mountains you climb, the valleys you walk through, they are all part of the tapestry God is weaving through your life. Your struggles are not wasted. They are refining you for greater glory. Your perseverance is breaking chains, not just for you, but for those who will follow your lead. This is a season where your light shines brighter than ever before. You are becoming a torchbearer, a beacon of hope and strength. People may not always understand what is happening to you, but they will recognize the change. They will feel the power that flows from your faith, and many will be drawn to it, hungry for the same grace that sustains you. As the prophet wrote in the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 1, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." You are that light. You have been called to rise and shine, not just for yourself, but for a generation in desperate need of hope and deliverance. Your calling is not a burden, it is a blessing. It is a mantle of responsibility that you carry with honor and courage. Your seal is a beacon, lighting the way through darkness, not only for yourself, but for others who are lost or struggling. When you embrace this divine mark, you step into a role of leadership and influence that carries both challenge and incredible reward. You become a source of strength and hope, inspiring those around you to believe in the impossible and to walk boldly in their own purpose. But with such a calling comes opposition. The enemy will not give up easily. He will continue to try to distract you, discourage you, and derail you. But remember, the mark on your life is a shield. It is a covenant that cannot be broken. It is a promise that no weapon formed against you will succeed. Now is the time to stand firm, to hold your ground, to declare the truth of who you are and whose you are. When the enemy whispers lies, you respond with the word of God. When doubt creeps in, you stand on faith. When fear threatens, you choose courage. You are unstoppable because you are God's chosen. You are unshakable because you are marked by His Spirit. You are victorious because the battle belongs to the Lord. If this message resonates with your spirit, if you feel the fire of God stirring within you, then join the movement. Like this message to affirm your commitment. Share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Comment below with your testimony or your declaration. Let this be a place where the marked ones gather, encourage one another, and stand strong together. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel to stay connected to these powerful words. These messages are designed to equip you, uplift you, and remind you of the power you carry. Together, we are a community of warriors, light bearers, and chosen vessels. Your journey is not just about surviving, it's about thriving. Not just about walking through the fire, but emerging from it, refined and radiant. Not just about hearing God's voice, but becoming the voice of God's truth in a world desperate for hope. You are here for such a time as this. You are the marked one, the chosen one, the unstoppable one. Your presence disturbs darkness and declares victory. Rise up, chosen one. Stand tall in your calling. Let your life be a testament to the power and glory of God. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to stay in this flow of anointing. The battle is fierce, but your victory is certain. You are God's chosen. You are a walking warning to the enemy. You are crowned with glory. What God seals, no hand, human or demonic, can tamper with. This is a divine truth that stands beyond human reasoning and earthly power. When heaven places its seal on you, it is a permanent act of ownership and protection. It is a supernatural bond that nothing in the natural or spiritual realm can break or alter. This seal is not a fragile mark, easily erased by circumstance, failure, or opposition. It is a mark forged in the fire of God's sovereign will, written by the hand of the Almighty, and guarded by the armies of heaven. It is a guarantee that you belong to God, that your destiny is secure, and that no weapon, no spirit of darkness can undo what He has done. Many times in life, we feel vulnerable to attacks from every side, pressure from relationships, challenges in work, spiritual warfare, or internal battles of doubt and fear. But the seal of God on your life creates a spiritual perimeter that these attacks cannot breach. They may come close, but they cannot enter. They may whisper and threaten, but their threats fall silent. The prophet Ezekiel was shown a vision of God placing a mark on the foreheads of His servants, a mark that distinguished them and protected them from judgment. This seal was a sign of divine ownership and preservation amidst chaos and destruction. Just like those ancient servants, you carry this mark now. This divine sealing means that your spiritual identity is safeguarded, your calling is secured, your purpose is preserved. It is a sign to the forces of darkness that you are off limits, untouchable, and reserved for God's glory. Even when the world tries to define you by your past mistakes, your failures, or your shortcomings, this seal reminds you that your true identity is found in God's unchanging love and power. No label, no condemnation, no accusation can override the truth of who you are in Christ. It was spoken through the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 31, verse 33. I will put my law in their minds and write it on their hearts. I will be their God, and they will be my people. The law God writes on your heart is not a burden, but a seal of belonging and transformation. It is a divine inscription that sets you apart and makes you unmistakably His. Because of this seal, you can walk with confidence, knowing that you are preserved by the power of God. The trials you face do not define you. The seal on your life defines your destiny. The setbacks you encounter do not cancel your calling. The mark God has placed on you guarantees your breakthrough. This seal also empowers you to live in freedom. It breaks the chains of fear, rejection, and condemnation. It frees you from the need for approval from man because you have the approval of heaven. It liberates you from the weight of shame because you carry the righteousness of God. The enemy may try to counterfeit this seal with lies and accusations, but they are only empty shadows compared to the reality of your divine marking. No counterfeit can withstand the genuine power of God's seal. It is eternal, unchangeable, and irrevocable. Living under this seal means that your life is a testament to God's faithfulness. It means you are part of a divine covenant that no enemy can dissolve. It means your steps are ordered, your prayers heard, and your future secured. You are called to walk boldly in this truth, to live as one who is sealed, marked, and owned by God, to carry yourself with the dignity and authority of someone who cannot be shaken because their foundation is the Rock of Ages. This seal is not just a spiritual concept, it is a lived reality. It affects how you see yourself, how you respond to challenges, and how you pursue your calling. It gives you peace in the storm, courage in the battle, and hope in the waiting. No hand can touch what heaven has sealed. No voice can undo what God has written. No power can revoke what the Almighty has established. You are sealed for a purpose. You are sealed for a mission. You are sealed for victory. Walk in the confidence that comes from this divine seal. Live in the freedom it brings. Let it guard your heart and mind. Let it propel you forward into all that God has prepared. Your seal is your strength. Your seal is your identity. Your seal is your unshakable promise. You have been crowned in the Spirit, marked by heaven's own hand. This is not merely a title, but a reality that defines your very essence. You are no longer just a participant in the journey, you are a victor, a ruler in God's kingdom, anointed to carry His glory wherever you go. The crown you wear is not made of gold or jewels, but of divine authority, unshakable faith, and relentless love. It is the seal of your identity as God's chosen. To be crowned is to be recognized by the King of Kings. It means you have endured the battles, overcome the trials, and remained faithful through every season of testing. Your crown is a testament to your perseverance, your obedience, and your willingness to walk by faith even when the way was unclear. It is a reward given by God Himself, a symbol of honor that no enemy can steal or diminish. You have been marked and set apart for this exact moment in history. Everything you have endured, the pain, the rejection, the doubt, was preparing you to walk confidently into your destiny. Your past does not define you. Your anointing does. You have been given a royal assignment to influence, inspire, and impact the world around you. The crown upon your head carries responsibility. It is a call to lead with humility, to serve with compassion, and to love with unwavering devotion. Your authority is not for personal gain, but for the advancement of God's kingdom. You are called to be a light in the darkness, a beacon of hope for the hopeless, and a voice for the voiceless. Even when the enemy tries to whisper that you are unworthy or powerless, remember the truth of your crowning. You are crowned because of grace, not merit. You are chosen because of love, not performance. Your position is secured by the blood of the Lamb and the promise of the Father. The book of Revelation declares in chapter 5, verse 12, "Worthy is the Lamb who was slain, to receive power and wealth and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and praise." You share in this worthiness, not because of who you are, but because of who He is. The crown you wear is linked to the Lamb's victory. It is the triumph of heaven over hell, light over darkness, life over death. Your worthiness flows not from your own achievements or righteousness, but entirely from the Lamb who was slain for you. The crown on your head is a reflection of His victory, a victory that shattered the power of sin and death forever. This triumph is cosmic. It is the ultimate declaration that light will always overcome darkness, that life will prevail over death. Because of His sacrifice, you are invited into this eternal victory, crowned not by your merit, but by His grace. Your crown symbolizes the eternal kingdom you now reign in, marked by divine power and unending love. Your days ahead are filled with promise. The best is yet to come. What you are about to discover will change everything you thought you knew about your purpose and your power. The crown is not the end, but the beginning of a glorious reign in your life. Walk forward with confidence, knowing that you carry heaven's approval. Stand tall, knowing that you are backed by divine authority. Speak boldly, knowing that your words carry weight in both heaven and earth. Live fully, knowing that you are covered, crowned, and called. You are unstoppable. You are unshakable. You are chosen for this exact moment. As you move into the future, remember that your crown is a symbol of your commitment to God's will. It is a daily choice to live out your calling with integrity and passion. It is a reminder that you are never alone. God is with you, guiding you, empowering you. The path may not always be easy. There will be challenges and opposition, but your crown will remind you that victory is yours. The battles are already won. The enemy is defeated. Your destiny is secured. Let your life be a testament to the power of being God's chosen and crowned one. Let your testimony inspire others to believe in their own calling. Let your light shine so brightly that it cannot be hidden. You have been marked. You have been sealed. You have been crowned. And nothing, no one can ever take that away from you. Chosen one. As we draw this sacred journey to a close, remember that what you carry is eternal. You have been marked, sealed, and crowned by the hand of God Himself. This is not a fleeting moment, but a divine identity that no force can undo. Your calling is your destiny, and your destiny is unstoppable because it is anchored in the unchanging love and power of the Almighty. Every step you take forward is covered by grace. Every battle you face has already been won in the spiritual realm. The crown upon your head shines with the glory of heaven, lighting the path not only for you, but for countless others who will follow in your footsteps. You are a torchbearer, a warrior, and a beacon of hope in a world hungry for truth and light. If this message has stirred your spirit, if it has ignited a fire within your heart, then take a moment to like this message. Share it with someone who needs encouragement, and comment your testimony or declaration below. Let your voice join the chorus of the marked ones standing in their authority, unshakable and victorious. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. Stay connected to a community of believers who walk boldly in their calling and who are committed to sharing God's power and love with the world. Together, we are a movement chosen, marked, and crowned for such a time as this. Remember, you are God's chosen. You are unbreakable. You are unstoppable. Your best days are not behind you, they are before you. Step into your destiny with confidence and faith. The world is waiting for the glory only you can reveal.